I've seen people who said, buy me a drink, I'm getting married or whatever, Venmo me at this. I'm like, wonder if I go down to Nashville and drive around and buy me a drink. Yeah.
If I hang around Todd Veeck enough, I'm going to find out that I am just one good idea away from $1 million. This is a good idea. Jordan, you want to go down to Nashville and just drive around like we just got married and see if we can get Venmo money?
Yeah.
We obviously know who the alpha male is here today, so I just want to establish that early, Todd. Everybody knows you as iPhoneTodd. I know you as Todd Veeck, and the reason you're here today is because I thought, well, you know what? We can inspire other people because you are a self-made man. I'm inspired by that, and you're local. I mean, you're a locally grown kid. Went to Wrights High School. You served our country proudly. You've been in Afghanistan. You've sniffed the sand there.
Yeah, I miss it. I want to go back. I do. I loved it. The good part about my time was for about 3 to 4 months, I was stationed at Camp Julian, which is the Canadian base.
And what armed services were you in?
I was in the Army National Guard.
Okay.
And so basically I went in, I was just headed nowhere in life. And Iraq was popping off, and I was like, I want to go. Like, I need to get out of town. I just need to just go. And I didn't know anything about the military. So I went to the first place I could think of, and which is recruiter, and he's like, yeah, we'll take you. And I didn't even ask about a bonus, nothing. I screwed myself over on all that stuff, yeah. But while I was in basic, that's when the Iraq invasion was going on, which was pretty crazy because the drill sergeants at the time knew to majorly mess with our heads. They would, when we'd go eat, they would turn on TV and be like, half you guys are going to die, this and that. Just really get in our heads, just kind of see who's going to break down and everything like that. And then went over in June of 2004. And leading up to it, I mean, we didn't know what to expect. But all I know is when we landed, the C-130 landed, and basically the back end opened, and I'm looking around, and there's like this Afghani throwing rocks at this bird and stuff. I'm like, man, this is not what I, like, where's all the action? So they load us into the back of a truck, take us to base. We didn't have weapons at this time. Or actually we did, but we didn't have ammo. So on the way over, we flew 747 commercial, which was pretty cool. So at the time, I was a saw gunner, which is basically a machine gun. And they had like stewards, like flight attendants, stuff like that. And they'd be like, hey, can you move your gun? You know, this and that. It was crazy. You know, you would have never thought. We had knives on us, all kinds of stuff. And we were up in the cockpit taking pictures while we were flying over there with the pilots, you know, with their guns, everything like that. And no one even flinched. It was pretty cool. So I think we.
And of course, that's after 9/11 when they started putting doors on the cockpits and locks and tight security.
So,
you had to take your shoes off.
So,
but you could bring a gun and a knife. That's okay.
Yeah, on our flight. So
but too much toothpaste or mouthwash.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, out of that, everyone kind of just went to different areas of Afghanistan. And before I went to Camp Julian, basically our role was just to kind of patrol just around the base. And we had a big group of guys that their job was to train the Afghan army. And we would make sure that they were safe. So we would go to the training compound, patrol around. We would do mounted patrols, which is through vehicle, or dismounted patrols, which is walking, go around the mountain, stuff like that. And then once I went to Camp Julian, that's when, you know, things kind of got interesting as far as I'm a 21-year-old, all this adrenaline. We basically had no supervision over us. So there was like all these Canadians and then like a handful of Americans, and our job was to protect the high-ranking, I guess, colonels and stuff like that would go to the presidential compound or go, you know, help with training, stuff like that. So we were constantly transporting them from base to base, presidential compound a lot. And with that, our rules of engagement at the time were don't stop, you know, because of, you know, possible car bombs and stuff like that. So needless to say, we hit a lot of cars that were in our way.
And that's how we lost a lot of people too, because of those car bombs.
And
let's just give them just enough weaponry. Not enough though, just a little less than they need, and that'll keep them honest.
Yeah.
Let's go guard the poppy fields over in Afghanistan.
I never actually seen any poppy fields.
having the pedigree that you have, and other people like yourself, you're a self-made man. But when you do that, when you have that military experience and you get barked at, and then you have to listen to orders, and then you learn a lot of discipline, I imagine it's kind of hard to come back and listen to anyone tell you what to do at that point.
It's definitely hard to come back. I mean, we went from, like I said, not stopping for anything. I mean, we didn't have stoplights over there. All they had was roundabouts. I mean, even if we came up to an intersection, it was every time we would have the rear vehicle come up, literally fly up to the intersection, fling whatever 50 cal or whatever they had at the time, and just point towards the cars, and they would all stop, and we would just keep going on. Was that me?
It could be. That's our first car alarm.
Not me.
I mean, when you're shooting in Gymtown, I guess I am intrigued by the iPhoneTodd because I think it's the name.
Yeah.
I really think that if you're going to catch fire, that's a good way to do it. You spark something there. Plus, I mean, at the time, the cell phone was new. We were just coming out of the egg phone. Mm-hmm. These smartphones existed. People were breaking them. They were dropping them in toilets, whatever they could come up with to bring them to, a place like your establishment. But that really wasn't – it was like a void that needed to be filled too. You had something there that, this is going to be a viable industry in repairing these phones for people. Who knows now that, they just kind of recycle them almost anymore. People just take them and get a new one.
Yeah.
But at the time, there was a big need for that. So how do you go into that? What epiphany did you have one night that you thought, I'm going to start my own business?
All right. So at the time I was working for the post office as a mail carrier. I was miserable, but you're not supposed to do it. But I would listen to headphones while I was walking and carrying mail. And I would always have my phone in my front pocket, and I'd bend over, boom, fall out and crack. So at the time, that's when a lot of people were searching Craigslist, stuff like that. So I went on Craigslist, and I found a guy who would fix them out of a used car lot. So I went to him. He's actually a real good buddy of mine now. And he kind of made the mistake and repaired it in front of me. I was like, oh, shit, that's easy. So the next time I broke it, I ordered my own kit on eBay, fixed it, and I was like, man, I just did this in like 10 minutes. So next thing you know, friends would break theirs, family, whatever. I'd fix theirs. And I was still working at the post office. So I started putting ads out on Craigslist. I don't think I was doing much on Facebook at the time. I was mainly doing Craigslist. And then all of a sudden business started really taking out. And I was like, I need to start an LLC. So I started up an LLC. And the quickest thing that came to my mind is, I'll just name it iPhoneTodd. So when I did that, I started getting more and more business, and I was living out of this like tiny house, but it had like a finished garage. And
where were we at in town?
It was over on the north side, Glenview. Yeah, Glenview Drive. So it's tucked behind like Beeler's Bilo over there. And so I remember one time I'd get off work after working 10 hours, carrying mail, whatever, and I would have, possibly 6 people sitting there on this couch. I just bang out phones, and then kind of lucked out. My wife was pregnant. She was about to give birth, so I was like, I'm going to go on paternity leave. So I went on paternity leave, and the entire time I was just banging out repairs, and I got to the
double
point,
dipping.
Yeah, I wasn't.
That's good.
I wasn't getting paid from the post office.
Yeah,
but I was kind of testing the waters because I was like, this is either going to go good, or I can just go back to the post office and be miserable. So it got to the point where I'm like, man, I'm making more in 2 hours than I am working at the post office all day. So the last day I was supposed to go back, I went in and just quit. And then I started repairing them out of. So at the time, there was this competitor that popped up. He turned me into the city. The city sent me a letter saying you can't be doing this out.
Well, who was that? Can we say that? Is that guy still alive? Is that guy still around? Is he doing the same thing?
No. So I don't want to say his business, but the guy, yeah.
People like salacious stuff.
He was an asshole.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, me and him went back and forth forever.
So there was already a business established in town, or you started yours and this guy just kind of popped up at the same time?
He was kind of doing the same thing, but he wasn't.
And then he tattled on you for something that.
Yeah, he was kind of doing it here and there, but he wasn't really promoting it. I think he would put an ad on Facebook, or not Facebook, but Craigslist, and he was kind of doing the same thing, but not as, not as in depth. And I was the type back then that, like, you come at me, you're just gonna, feed my fire. I'm gonna put up a billboard. And that's what I did. I was like, I'm going to put up a billboard and just kind of focus on me. And when I put up the billboard, it's like, more business. And he get pissed off, one thing he did was he put me on Craigslist, men looking for men, stuff like that. And I was having, it was just stuff like that. I was just like, what the hell? And it went back and forth. And then eventually became so bad that we had attorneys fighting each other and,
all over iPhone repair.
And came down to it, the dude ended up getting caught being a chomo, and he fled to Texas.
Do I need to? Wow, Jordan knows what that means, and I need a definition. I don't speak.
Child molester.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what they. Oh, yeah. It's terrible. Yeah, we have to call him something else on the news. It's all official.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't know.
Yeah,
it's like a prison term.
Yeah, he had 2 middle school girls. He was married at the time. He had 2 middle school girls come in and perform sex acts on him in the shop.
Oh.
Yeah.
We don't know his name though. We just know he's a chomo.
Yeah. He's not a good person.
Let's take a break.
So I think by the time it was said and done, I had $5,000 in my account. And like I said, I just took a huge risk. And I was like, this is either going to go good or bad. And by that time, I already quit the post office. So I literally just hit advertising so hard. I worked from the time I got up to, sometimes 11 o'clock at night. And it paid off.
And you're just working by yourself at that point?
Yeah, me and my wife. So she was kind of handling the front counter, stuff like that. But yeah, it was mainly just me and her. And then I waited long as possible to hire anybody. And then once I started hiring people, it was just like another person. And next thing you know, I had 14 employees in 5 locations.
And I don't think that business would survive now, though. I think that industry's changed a bit, hasn't it?
They're still going. So after I sold it, it's still going good.
So who'd you sell it to? I mean, not that you have to say the person's
Yeah, so
name,
I sold it to 4 individuals. This is going to get interesting.
And it's got the name iPhoneTodd on it.
So around 2015 or 2016, I started dealing more with California. And so most people I don't know if they still do this, but at the time, I could take your broken screen and sell it to, I'd get maybe 1,000 screens, build them up, ship them to California, and they would pay me for the broke screens, and they would refurb them. So I was getting money through that, plus the repairs, and yeah. So then once I got and established a connection with the guy in California, he was like, "Hey, there's this business called iCracked, is a mobile-only repair type thing, but they don't want to do Evansville. But maybe if they refer customers, you can give them a kickback." I'm like, I'm cool with, the idea. So I flew out to San Francisco, Silicon Valley area, and I met with iCracked and worked out a deal. And I was just like, man, like now my name's kind of getting out there where Apple might hear, And Apple was big enough, and what they were doing
because they own the letter I.
Yeah, I don't know all the specifics, but at that time I started getting into other phones like Samsung, stuff like that, and people were thinking we only did iPhones at the time. So I was like, okay, I'm doing other phones. I'm also got my name out in California, and Apple was the type that you would hear about them going in and just shutting down an entire store and suing them for $100,000. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to risk this. So I took the I off, made it iPhoneTodd, and a lot of people thought that I got sued by Apple, which I never did.
Well, I'm sure there was a guy that said, hey, I bet he got his.
Oh, yeah, there was all kind of. I mean,
bet he got sued.
Oh, yeah, I had people out there saying, he's doing so good, he's got to be selling drugs, or he's, there was all kind of rumors. You just got to kind of shut that stuff out and just go.
I drug Todd.
Yeah, yeah.
I pilled Todd.
Yeah.
All kinds of combinations. You took iPhoneTodd, and then I guess like a private investigative business?
Actually, I had that going while I was still, so I had the iPhoneTodd up until 2017. I started the Tri-State Private Investigations in 2013. So I got to a point in the phone industry where I didn't have to work. I just kind of showed up and made sure everyone was doing, what they were supposed to do.
I think a lot of people don't realize they're just one good idea away from $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you really are. You wake up every day, you could just have that one good idea, and then, boom, you're a millionaire. But it may not happen. People swing at lots of pitches and miss a lot of pitches. So you do that.
Well, with that, I mean, I failed a lot. I mean, there would be ideas that I would be like, this is going to work, and it failed. And with that, you just got to learn off the failures. It's okay.
Give me a failure.
Huh?
Give me the failures.
So once I started getting the idea of I was selling these screens off to California and they refurb them and sell them back or whatever, I was like, I'll just buy my own refurbing kit, which would include this like vacuum type, real big container. And you would kind of lightly glue the glass on the LCD and put them in there, and the vacuum would compress them down to the screen. Totally failed. So I spent all this money on that equipment, went nowhere. And so I just...
But again, it's all part of that being not relying on others. So you got this supply chain. You're thinking, well, I can just cut this off. Again, one less person to listen to. One less person, making decisions that affect you. But I am intrigued by the private investigative work. You're a married guy. At the time you're with your wife during this, I mean, that's got to be pretty intriguing too. You're committed in this marriage. But then at the same time, I imagine that business had a lot to do with, cheating spouses.
Yeah.
And what kind of clientele did you get, and what kind of services did you provide?
So I started off with, the way you become a private investigator is, I think you have to have 1,200 hours working under another private investigator, or you have to do something in the military that's equivalent. So since I was in that surveillance unit, Indianapolis just checked off. It's like, cool. Now you just got to get the insurance and, all the requirements, and then do a state police background check. And then, with that, I think my first one was a good one. It was a cheating spouse. This lady called me. She's like, my husband's cheating, this and this and this. And I was like, so at the time, if her name was on the vehicle, I could put a GPS tracker on the car. So I put one on the vehicle. And for like a week, this dude was not doing anything but other than working and going home. So I called her up and I said, hey, is there any way you can make him think that you're going out of town? She's like, yeah, I can say I'm going to my mom's house. So she told him she was going out of town. So I was actually at Eastland Mall with my wife, and I was watching a tracker. He went home, and then all of a sudden he's heading towards the mall. I was like, oh my God, he's heading towards the mall. So I go out in the parking lot, and I see him pull up to JCPenney. Some young girl, I think he was about 45, some young, maybe 22-year-old, gets in the car with him. And then they drive down Green River Road, Lynch, Burkhart Road. They just did like a big loop. I don't know if they were trying to see if anyone was following or whatever, but they ended up at a Mexican restaurant over by Schnucks, off Green River Road. And I pull the GPS off, and I'm getting video of them, making out and all this other stuff.
And that's part of the job.
Yeah, so
you have to get in their business.
Yeah, so me not knowing anything, I took the person who hired me. She called me up, wanted an update, and I said, yeah, I got him. She's like, where you at? And I said, well, I'm at this Mexican restaurant. She was like, I'm right by there. So at this time, these two are already in the car, making out, everything like that. She pulls up, flies in there, because everyone's doing this all off emotion. So she whips in there. Also, next thing you know, it's a car chase. He takes off with this girl in the car. It's a she flies down, follow him down Grinnell Road, Lloyd Expressway, 41, and I'm sitting there calling her the whole time. I'm like, just turn off. And she finally turned off, and I think she went home. And the story she told me was she went home, and by that time he, pulled in there all angry, and her 16-year-old son was in getting close so that she could go to a hotel. And out of reaction, she said the guy punched her son, which I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, that was the first one. I was like, oh, this is, exciting.
That's how you started this
yeah,
business.
The very first one.
First client.
Very first one.
Now, how do they pay you for that? Do they pay you in advance?
Yeah, so there was like a $250 deposit, and then it was like $50 an hour after that.
Okay. So how long would it take you to nail somebody down? I mean, obviously,
it really just depends.
You didn't want to waste your time. You told her to leave town, so you knew there would be activity.
Yeah. It really just depends. I mean, she could say, hey, I can only pay for like 4 hours, or some people will pay whatever.
So you can negotiate it.
Yeah.
But if it's an easy case, it shouldn't take much
Yeah,
time.
the big money is workers' comp fraud.
Oh, man. You see that on the TV shows.
Yeah. And that's one reason why I got out of it was I kind of got fed up with certain companies would be so determined to... So basically what would happen, workers' comp. Place would reach out. Usually like a big corporate business would reach out to the big PI firms, and then the bigger private investigation firms would reach out to like small ones like me. And they'd say, hey, will you do this? It pays out for 16 hours at $50, sometimes $150, $200 an hour. I'm like, so I started taking them, and then once you accepted it, they would say, all right, this person has a doctor's appointment on this day. Here's where they're going to be. Here's their limitations. Maybe, they can only bend their elbow so much, or they have a migraine. They have to walk around with sunglasses and can't drive. And basically what you would do is you go up there, and we would zoom in on their face to verify it was them, and then zoom out to see how they would walk. And then you would follow them just wherever they would tell you to follow them to, and just kind of, and trying to catch them just kind of slipping up. And I think where I got kind of fed up was they were determined this lady was faking it. And I would even call them up, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she's not faking. Like, she's legit, like, hurt. Right? No, we gotta get something on her. So they were trying to catch her on maybe one good day that she may be feeling great. And I was like, you know what, this is not good.
Some soul stealing
Yeah,
work.
exactly. Because with my back, like I said, I get the nerve ablations, and if I didn't, I couldn't function. But with that, I'm able to work and do stuff. And there's days that I have my bad days, but I still push through it. So it's just like, man, like, I have my good days and I have my bad days, and they're trying to catch someone on their good day and just totally wreck their life. And I was like, this is not for me.
But there are still those businesses in town, right?
Yeah, not too many. Even at the time, there was only like 3 or 4.
It's almost like a repo man.
Yeah.
It's in that category.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants that job, but there's not very many opportunities for a bail bondsman or somebody,
Yeah, because
the bounty hunter.
The other thing with cheating spouse is, let's just say, so emotions are going wild at this time. Everyone's playing the blame game of who's at fault, this and that, which at the time I'm like, I don't care. Just, are you going to hire me or not, And I wouldn't know if they were lying to me or not. So my thing is, let's just say I'm at someone's house, and then, getting the paperwork done or wherever, or meeting them out, and the spouse pulls up.
Yeah.
And they think I'm the bad guy, and then, I have emotion, I'm the one getting shot at or whatever.
It does put you in some real life situations.
Yeah. At the time, I didn't really think about it, but once I kind of led up to it and I seen how emotions got involved, I was just like, yeah, this.
But again, I think the theme is you like adrenaline.
Yeah.
You like it in bite sizes.
Yeah.
And then a full meal maybe is too much to handle. I know you're well traveled. I mean, you make a little money. You got a chance to go and go visit other places with your wife and your family. One thing I noticed when I went to Mexico, I've only been to one other foreign country, and it was Mexico. Sorry, it's not Afghanistan, but I've been to Mexico like 8 weeks of my life. I counted up, And I'd go down there for 7 days at a time and stay with my friend down there. He's not at Chomo. He's not. That's not why he's there. Okay. So make sure it's not the same guy. So I go down there, and the one thing I never saw in Mexico was I never saw anyone raise their voice to another person. In traffic, if someone cut you off, and I wasn't driving, the cab drivers were, but a cab would cut off another cab, and they just give them a look. No finger, no raised voice, no glance other than just a look, And I never saw in a bar, I just never saw any screaming. I never saw any arguments in the 8 weeks that I've ever been there. And I thought, wonder why that is. We are so tightly wound here. We are really, really on edge. No one likes to be disrespected in traffic, in line at a grocery store, at their school, at their work. But down there, and I know they have a lot of problems down there, but that's not one of their problems. It's just kind of weird. And I thought, I wonder how much of the world is that way, that they don't let things get to them like that. But here we do kind of bottle up our problems, and that guy on the way home gets you.
Yeah, my wife says all the time they almost need like a nicer horn, like a hey, move asshole, or hey, kind of you're in my way type.
I always thought about putting an LED screen on the back window of my car, and then just having like pre-typed out, phrases for people, and then you don't have to like slam your brakes on, or you just communicate something to them through the back of your window.
I think a good money making
but that
thing,
could get you shot too.
Yeah,
though.
A good money making thing is go down to, I know it sounds shady, but I was like, kind of popped in my head is like, I've seen people who said, buy me a drink, I'm getting married or whatever, Venmo me at this. I'm like, wonder if I go down to Nashville and drive around and buy me a drink.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If I hang around Todd Veeck enough, I'm going to find out that I am just one good idea away from $1 million. This is a good idea. Jordan, you want to go down to Nashville and just drive around like we just got married to see if we can get Venmo money?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a good idea.
And my man cheated on me. I'm cheating
Yeah.
you now.
I wonder if that works.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it does.
It's almost like the GoFundMe accounts of driving around.
The Parlor isn't just your run-of-the-mill barbershop. It is so much more. Offering the latest in cuts, shaves, and other services for the man who wants to look his best. Ladies, we have you covered too. Styles, color, and highlights that will make eyes turn. Don't forget the kids. Looking for products to keep your new cut looking its best? We have the full line of Suavecito and Grade Before Shave products ready to take home with you. Look your best today by booking an appointment at The Parlor, 2106 West Franklin Street.
I guess someone like you would probably apply AI,
Oh,
the artificial intelligence. How do you apply that to a business model? I mean, you could look at your numbers, you could look at your profits, you could look at your futures, but how do you apply that to a small business now?
So AI, ChatGPT is what I use. I use it for all my business Facebook posts because if not, it would sound like a caveman. I use it to respond to certain customers that may be difficult to deal with. I even use it towards crypto. So, no joke.
You like the crypto, huh?
Oh, yeah. So that's
Okay.
mainly what I do during the winter. And so I'll go on ChatGPT and I'll say, what's the possible price prediction for 2025 and 2030 of XRP, Solana? I don't really deal with Bitcoin because it's not going to grow that fast, I don't think, as much as the others.
It's not as volatile.
No. So I went in and I kind of spread my money out between a couple of them and put $9,000 in, and it went up 400% in a year. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. So now I keep doing it. And it's not always spot on, but it's pretty close. Because what it does is it finds all the websites and it kind of searches like this site's saying this, this site's saying this. I even used it for my MRI for my back, and because nothing was making sense, the MRI was kind of gibberish, and it dumbed it down for me, and now I understand it.
So you just took all the big fat words that the doctors use and you input that in?
I basically copied my entire MRI from my back, put it in there, and it dumbed it down. I even do that with my blood work. So I get my blood work, and it'll say, here's what you need to do. Take more fish oil, whatever. So, you could use it for anything, but I use it a lot for business as far as advertising, responding to customers, just everything.
You use it for buying a car. You could use it for just everyday things. We've been using YouTube for the past couple of decades, just going on and fixing things at our house. You have a new business now.
Yeah.
Because you like pressure, you like adrenaline, so you're now pressure washing.
Yeah. So 2019 started Homeshine Plus, me and my wife, and then we kind of led into concrete sealing, and that kind of just shot up. So that's our main focus right now is aggregate sealing, because that pretty much has to be done. And a lot of people don't want to do it themselves anymore. So we kind of hit the market right there again. I mean, there's other people out there doing it. And the guy who owns Seal Tech, basically he's one of the guys who bought iPhoneTodd from me. There was 4 individuals, and he's one of them. And he's doing really good. He's been doing it for like 20 years. So that's kind of what got me into it. I was like, man, he's doing really good. Making really good money. He likes it. So I was like, I'm going to try it. And yeah, we love it. I like working outside, except when it's like 95 degrees out.
It's been that way lately.
But in the fall, it's awesome.
So you go from repairing cracked cell phone screens to like cracked driveways and things.
Yeah.
Just a bigger surface.
Yeah. So shortly after, about a year after I sold the stores, I did almost go broke because I still had that spending mentality, and the sale didn't go completely as I expected, and I didn't get all the money. And I was trying to start this apparel company and make it internet. You ever heard of Grunt Style?
No, I haven't.
You have?
Okay,
So
she's a lot hipper than I am.
yeah, so Grunt Style is like a military style, like, tactical, not tactical, but they sell, I mean, they're like a $25 million, if not more, company. And I was like, I'm going to do that. So me and my buddy get into it, and I push a lot of the money I use for the sale to, whenever you try to do like international, you got to spend a lot of money in advertising. So I think I took $60,000 and put it towards advertising. So I was pumping all this money, still thinking I had $125,000 coming to me still, and then ended up not coming through because guy ended up dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Todd takes it.
He actually committed suicide.
Ah.
Yeah.
How do you have such a good sense of humor? You do.
I'm just numb towards everything.
Well, I don't think you are. I think certain people are built differently. You know what business you need to be in? And it's hot right now. Sinkhole filling business.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Just put a sign up and not do anything.
The sinkhole filling business.
Yeah.
Would
Let's
be
just
very profitable right now. By the way, this is the 165th day.
I think the business
Evansville
to be in is the
pothole.
barrel and sign business.
Oh.
Just
Yeah.
block off a road.
Oh, man. There's a lot of that going on there.
Every
But,
road.
being a guy from Evansville, the city's done well for itself. I mean, yeah, we kind of pick on the sinkhole and things like that, some annoyances, the Lloyd Expressway not being an expressway, but you got to be proud of your city.
Yeah, I am. I like living here. I live out in the county. I love it. I can go out back, shoot if I want to.
Yeah, you can do some things in the county.
Oh, yeah. Shoot tannerite.
Yeah, you can drive golf carts soon.
Yeah.
And with your guns.
Yeah. Especially on the west side, man. Like, we'll go out back, shoot tannerite, blow shit up. And
I have some
and the neighbors are
tannerite,
kind of
yeah.
like encouraging it. Certain areas you can't do that.
Yeah. Do you like the Fall Festival? I've asked everybody in here about the Fall Festival, and I get mixed reviews on the Fall Festival. But being a Wrights High School graduate, I imagine you have to have a soft spot for the Fall Festival.
Yeah, I like it, and I like what it's about. But I also don't like
You don't like crowds?
how packed it is sometimes. Yeah.
The cops and the military guys do not like the crowds.
Yeah, and then you get to see people you haven't seen in
Sure.
forever, but there's also people that you don't want to run into. You're like, man, I really don't want to see that person ever again, and you run into them. But yeah, I like it.
I could tell you don't. He's being polite. When did you start the phone business? What age were you?
Oh man, I don't know what age. 2011.
Okay.
So I'm almost 43 now.
So you're in the late 20s, maybe?
Probably 28, maybe
Yeah,
29.
yeah. It's pretty ambitious for late 20s.
Yeah, I was just so over the post office. I was so over working for someone.
Yeah, and it's kind of. I think the post office picks a certain pedigree of people.
Oh man, it's very toxic.
I don't think I could pass the test.
So you would have one day on the post office. It's almost like they look for asshole supervisors. So there was this one that would come out on a route and be like, "Hey, it's a hot day. You want some Gatorade, stuff like that?" And be like, "Okay, cool." Like, and then the next day you may have some guy be like, "Why are you on this street? You should be the street over." And I'm like, "Screw you, dude. Like, you're in this AC building." AC car, and you're telling me I should, hurry up? No.
So what was a normal day as a mailman like? Because that's an intriguing job.
When I
you're walking the
first started
street,
carrying
you walked,
mail,
didn't you?
Yeah, so when I first started carrying mail, I started off on South Side, which is that was interesting. That was pretty fun. And I ended up getting not robbed, but this drunk lady jumped up in my mail truck and started taking mail from me. I'm like, what do I do? Should I mace her? And she was like, I'm looking for the good stuff, and handwritten stuff like birthday cards, stuff like that. And she literally just takes the mail, walks up to the porch. I call supervisor, and next thing you know, the postal inspectors, which is the federal agents, handle her ass. Well, actually, cops show at first, and then the postal inspector called me and was like, put the cop on the phone. And they detained her until the postal inspectors got there. And then after that, I got moved to the West Side route. If I would have so I started 2006. So what? I don't almost have 20 years on. It's like, man. So there's times I look back, I'm like, man, they're guaranteed paycheck. Just what if I would have just done my time?
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did the route I did.
Well, I think you've inspired other people, really. And do you have any? Are there people out there that have taken on a business themselves, and maybe that you've kind of inspired them?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean,
maybe this is the only one. Maybe this little business here, you inspired me.
Well, I've had people, think about stuff, and they're like, man, I need to talk to this attorney, and, I need to pay this company. I'm like, no, just go to the Secretary of State site, pay your $90 or $95, go to the IRS site, set up your EIN. Don't Google it, because you'll get sent to a third party where they charge you. You can go do it for free. So people don't realize how easy it is to set up a business.
Well, they don't teach a lot of this in school.
No, and they should, because they want you to work for someone, It's like, what's the term? Either take a risk or work for someone that did.
This is morbid.
That's we would have makeup artists.
Yeah.
And so like that scenario right there, they would say, the instructors would come to us and be like, okay, one day it was a 3-week, usually it's like 3 weeks out of the year down in Mississippi. And they'd say, one day we want you to try to break into the base, see how they react. Or one day we want you to.
And who are these people in the base?
Navy Seabees. So they basically set up a base, so they were kind of doing their mock-up to prepare to go overseas. So our job was to throw every scenario possible at them, so that way to help them, see how they would react. And that way the instructors would watch how they reacted and say, hey, you failed at this, or you could have done it better this way. So like in this instance, they were like, and we'd always have it where we would have like a fake mayor, fake sheriff of the certain area that they were going to. And that one, they were like, hey, this guy's going to come to you, needs medical attention. He's willing to give you intel. Or that's what they told our guys. Go to the front gate, say, hey, I have all this intel on the surrounding area. I'll give it to you in exchange for medical attention. So they did the wrong thing and they turned him away. And so we decided to have a makeup artist make a fake head, identical to the guy needing medical attention, and send it to the base and be like, you didn't give medical attention, and now they've seen this guy's a snitch, so they cut his head off and sent it to you guys. How do you react now? So it was a lot of situations, and then we'd have one scenario where they would be like, they would tell the base, hey, there's this special forces detachment out on patrol. And all of a sudden they would, like, kind of close to the base, you'd hear these big explosions. We'd have pyro guys with us set off these explosions, and all of a sudden we just rush towards the gate and be like, we need medical attention, just screaming. And they're just kind of fumbling around like, what do we do? And then we had one guy who was actually in Fallujah, a Marine dude, who actually lost his leg. I got a picture of it. And so he had like a fake leg, and they took and made it look real and made it look like it was detached from him. So we'd roll up in these SUVs looking like this special forces attachment or whatever. And basically half the people were dead, half the people were wounded. Here's a guy with missing leg, and you just see their eyes like light up and like, what do I do? You know? And we made it real as possible for them.
Yeah, apparently with that one photo.
Yeah, I have a bunch.
I don't want to see that.
No, I mean, nothing's real.
I know, but even that give me nightmares. Do folks still call you iPhone Todd?
Yeah.
Does that become your name?
Occasionally.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really go around town and be like, hey, this is who I am. But
hey, I'm iPhone
if
Todd.
they happen to be like, you look familiar, and I'm like, well, I don't know. And I'll kind of just brush off as that. And eventually, I've even had people like look me up before hiring me. And I'd be like, oh, and like bring this up. I'm like, how do you know this? And
you have lots of layers, I have to say. And you're really only halfway through your life, too. So
I'm done starting other businesses. We're focused now on this, and I'm over the adrenaline. We wake up and do our job, come back, and don't deal with any drama.
And play cryptocurrency, apparently.
Yeah.
That's
mainly
fun.
during the winter.
Let's go play cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Jordan, you want to go play cryptocurrency? Oh, okay. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.